Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast, where we are reshaping life, leadership and business from the inside out. And today I'm welcoming from sunny Brisbane is its official name. I'm welcoming to the show Tim Dwyer. Welcome, Tim.
Hey B, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Great to hear. Big shout out to all the listeners also. They won't even know what Brisbane is. It's so funny how we have these different names for the different states. We're like the Mexicans of Victoria. I don't know why we're called Mexicans, by the way. Do
It's
you?
just the South thing, that's all.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, there you go. How is sunny Brisbane going?
it's awesome. I mean, it's perfect this time of year, so I put a jumper on when it gets down to 20 degrees. Other than that, what's that, 70 degrees in the US. So it's a perfect time of year for golf, sailing, and having fun.
So nice. Well, we're going to have quite the conversation today, I think. Lots of regenerating conversations are going on at the moment, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to getting into it. So let's get on into it. You're a brand and growth strategist. You're a business builder. You're also author of the Ptolemy map. Do you have the book in front of you at all, Tim?
I do. Here's a copy. It's a kind of a big book, B.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
complete reference manual to every aspect of business and life.
Yeah, I love that. We've got so much in common around that business and life. And I also want to talk to you about, I've been told you can't put business and life together. And I'm like, who says? It's absolutely you can. And they are two of the same thing, if you ask me, like your
Yeah,
life
they're
and your
integrated.
business. It's like saying the word balance, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Anywho, sorry, you go.
no. The funny thing is, the most successful businesses come out of someone's passion.
Totally. It's so true. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes, I'm
Mm.
into that. I completely agree. So, like I said, you're a brand and growth strategist, business builder, author of the Tolemy map. And Tim, you've spent more than 25 years helping businesses grow, working with thousands of founders and leaders to uncover what sits at the core of sustainable success. We might put another spin on that. We're talking about regenerative success these days. Sustainable
Yep.
keeps us here. We're
Yep.
talking about regenerative, and you're going to give us some examples of what you're seeing. An important inflection point emerged when, Tim, you realised most businesses don't struggle because they lack ideas. They struggle because they're solving the right problems in the wrong order. The right problems in the wrong order. I want to just repeat that so it's really clear for everyone listening. That insight reshaped your work from helping businesses grow faster to helping leaders discover their purpose, uncover their core asset, and build from the inside out. Music to my ears, the inside out. Today, Tim helps businesses align purpose, strategy, and execution through simple frameworks that create clarity, momentum, and lasting growth. And at the heart and soul of your work is a belief that extraordinary businesses aren't built by doing more. They're built by knowing what to do, why it matters, and when the time is right. I'm going to hand it
Spot
over to
on.
you, Tim,
Yeah.
because I think this is a really timely time to be having this conversation right now, and especially for all the listeners.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
us a bit about your journey.
So I've been doing the advising side of things for over 25 years. But prior to that, I also was part of one of the biggest corporate transformations in Australian history. When I worked for the local telco, being Telstra, and we had to downsize from 98,000 people to 48,000 people in a 5-year period.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and I learnt so much through that transition. And that's 30 years ago now, but the cycles are repeating themselves. But what I learnt from that, I'm actually applying today because we're going through a similar cycle, except for it's not just one industry, it's every industry is going through the transformation. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking that into the business market to show people that you need to lead change with culture. And not only just the brand direction, but the culture both are critically important. So that's what I'd love to talk to you about today.
Yeah, awesome. Also, I'm just writing this down because you said cycles are repeating themselves and lead change with culture. Can we start with what you mean by cycles are repeating themselves? Because the reason I asked this question is because, okay, we're in this AI revolution. It's not too dissimilar to when the internet came into play, or those sorts of things. So I love hearing that you're saying this is ultimately another cycle repeating
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. Well, we have a technology cycle, or for the last 150 years, we've been going through cycles. Every 30 years, something transformational changes the way that we work and live. So the internet was the last one. Prior to that, it was the race for space, and it was satellites, and how we navigated the skies. Prior to that, it was the automobile. Prior to that, it was steam. So there's a technology change approximately every 30 years, which means that everyone has to change the way that they think about business and life. This is no different, but this one's bigger and it's faster. But it's still a technological change.
Interesting. And so then what do you think if cycles are repeating themselves, are you alluding to that they're also it means that we're just repeating the same behavioral patterns and we need to shift it? Like, because you talk about leading change with culture. Like,
Yeah.
what is it that what's the repetitiveness? Is it the technologies? I mean, it's different technologies repetitive.
Yeah. Through each cycle, there's what to call it, a bit of a mass extinction event happens in every cycle. And what that means is when businesses transform, they have to adopt to the change, and if they don't adopt to the change, then they'll disappear. They just exist no longer, and all the resources get rolled up into other organizations. So the example I love using. Have you ever heard of the Kodak story? You probably
Yes.
have
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So everyone's heard the Kodak story, right? So the Kodak story was they saw themselves as a film company. So they didn't go up two layers of what problem they solved for the customer. And if they saw themselves as a memory company, not a film company, they could have embraced the digital change. Now, what's happening in society is most people are going out selling features and benefits of their current product, and they're only seeing it out about 1 to
I
2
just lost
years
you, Tim.
maximum.
I'm hoping
And
you
as
come
a
back.
result of that, there's going to be a whole lot of businesses that have a Kodak moment because they miss the transformation. Oh dear. Can you still see me, B?
Yeah, I've just lost you. Yep, you're back. Yep.
Yeah, I'm back. Oops. Could you hear that, or
No,
was
we
that
lost you. We lost you at the critical moment. So do you want to repeat it? And I'll cut out when you went just AWOL for a second. We
okay?
just sat here in silence waiting.
S-
Present.
So, so I was explaining the Kodak moment. Was I up
Yep.
to that?
Yep.
Yes. So what happened with Kodak is if they went up to a memory business, they could have actually embraced the technological era that was coming in, but they saw themselves as a film company. Now, what I'm seeing in society and business is people are still only seeing themselves 1 or 2 years out.
Yeah, you
That's
said the
the
features and benefits
Yeah,
piece.
that's the features and benefits bit. And so if they only see their current product line and the features of benefits of their current product line, they're going to risk actually being extinct in the future because they're not going up and they're not going to be embracing the technological era that we're actually moving into. So that's the strategic brand layer that businesses need to know, well, what's our future and how can I go 5, 10 years out of what it is that we're going to build under the brand that we've already created or the brand that we're going to create.
Yeah, it's
Now
so
that's
true. Mm.
Yeah, and that's above the line. That's what I call above the line strategy. Now the problem with that is the resistance that sits below the surface in the culture. So if you don't have a clear direction of where a business is going in the next 5, 10 years, then the culture will become a cultural undertow and it will actually hold the business back.
Mm.
So it's all about how do you adjust the culture to be a change culture so that therefore it can embrace the future direction of a business.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, identity comes up for me, Tim, as you're talking about this, because, like, when we're just chasing these shiny new like forms of technology or whatever, and it's like like there's so many businesses at the moment that have just been born from I've got this AI platform, or I've got this, or I've got that, and I'm looking, and you're probably seeing this as well. I'm looking at some of them thinking, where's the substance behind it, or what's the actual brand identity here? And I call that out a lot with the businesses that I work with, because I'm like, what's your story? What's your brand identity? And they look at me and they're like, and I'm like, "And what's your strategy?" Because
So
if you don't have that,
no.
you can have a product, like, it's just it kind of boggles me in a way, mind boggles me.
Yeah, well, it comes back to whether it's yours to own or not. So I was playing with AI with my daughter, when I was down in Melbourne a few weeks ago, and we came up with a new idea, and I said, "Well, let's put it in using the Tolemy framework and see what it spits out." And sure enough, it spat out a whole brand strategy. It shot out all of the products that could come off the back of it. It put in a channel strategy to put a sales camp. It built the whole thing in a matter of hours. And so then I said to my daughter, I said, "Phoebe, have a look, read through it, and just feel your way into it. And is this yours to own?" And she did. And she goes, "No, it's not mine." And she goes, "That's not my passion. It's a great idea, but it's not my passion and it's not mine to own." So she goes, "Let me sit with what's my passion." And so the thing is, that's where I said right at the very beginning, if we begin with what's our passion and what's our purpose, then we can design a business off the back of our capability and what we're really driven and drawn to do.
Yeah, I
And when
love
that
that.
happens, amazing things can happen.
Totally, totally. Tell me, Tim, because you've been doing this for like 25 plus years. So, you've seen so much change. And like you said, it's another cycle repeating itself. Just coming back to your point that you just made then, I've just lost my train of thought. It was a really good question. It'll come back to me in a minute. It was about your daughter and passion, etc. I guess where I'm going, and it'll come back to me, is we're on the verge, if you ask me, if we're not careful, of just becoming a sea of sameness and a sea of beigeness.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
And if
that's where, so what that's all about is AI. It's not AI led. It's AI supported. So the sameness comes in if businesses are going out there and they don't have their brand story and they don't have their purpose really aligned and they're not truly connected to it, what they'll do is just create a whole lot of activity. And so there's a whole lot of activity that you're seeing and a whole lot of messages in your email box and on social media, and it's everyone trying to get out there. And what they're doing is they're all copying each other. It's all same, same.
Yeah, 'cause my questions come back to me. I'll ask it in a second, but I've got the bots coming at me telling me that I need to be doing it this way and that way, and I'm like, "That's not true to my purpose, it's not true to my passion."
Correct.
So you
Yeah.
can keep telling me to the cows come home that I'm doing this wrong. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep ignoring you, and if because it's like it's almost fear-mongering, right? Like, and so I think there's a lot of businesses, because again, this comes back to quick transactional, solving things fast and not thinking about, well, actually, what is the purpose of this? What does it matter? We'll
Yeah.
we'll park that for a second before I
Well,
forget the
c-
question I had again.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, you were gonna say something.
No, no, you go the question, and then I'll link it into this one because
Yeah.
there's
My
something about
question
slowing down for a reason, and there's a really key reason of what's going on. So,
yeah,
what's your question
so
first?
my question is, like, you've been in this game for a long time. I'm not saying you're old or anything. I'm just saying you've been in it for a long time,
Yeah.
and, advisory there's a lot of advisors coming out all of a sudden. I'm an advisor now. You've been doing this for quite some time, so you're well versed, well experienced. Life and business. Have you, over the years, had resistance to that when you talk about the life and business? And I have no doubt that that is in your Ptolemy framework, which we'll get to
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So
Mm.
so when we like your whole thing is formless flow, right? So when we're actually on our pathway, and then this is where the inspiration comes into it, or in spirit. When we're actually in flow and we're on track in our lives, what our lives are meant to unfold to be, then everything comes easy. We still have challenges to overcome because this is a puzzle and this is a game we're here to play together. But the thing is, once we know what our purpose is and where we're going and what brand we want to build, and like we just get into this beautiful flow, and then the noise disappears. You see the noise for what it is. Now, when you see all these bots and all this information coming in and flooding the internet and whatnot, where that's coming from, it's coming from fear, scarcity mindset. And here's a distinction. What I've worked out over the last 20 plus years and what I've mapped is every single decision that we make in business that is based in fear and scarcity will result in a negative outcome in the future. But every decision we make that is truly made in love and abundance will create a positive outcome in the future. Now, when we slow down our decision making and go, okay, where am I making this decision from? Is it fear? Is it abundance? Or is it scarcity? What is it? Is it fear and scarcity, or is it love and abundance? Now, the other thing around that is if people are going out there and just charging out and pushing messages out and being transactional, that's making it all about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the key to abundance is to make it about other, to be service centered about other people. And when we truly make decisions that are service centered based in love and abundance, we will create the brand we envisage.
Yeah.
And if it's ours, we'll have it. If it's not ours and it's not our capability and it's not ours to own, then time to change course.
So true, isn't it? And it's also attraction. It's also attraction, right? Like, what the less you push, the more like love and abundance equals attraction as well, versus just this efforting, pushing, scarcity. If I keep doing this, I'm going to get tangible results. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Well, and that's what everyone's selling today. They're all selling, oh, your next $10 million business. I got to say, to create a $10 million business, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And sometimes people, they see this big shiny $10 million business, but I'm going, but do you really want that, or are you just looking for a really cool lifestyle of travel and having fun? And they go, actually, I just really like the lifestyle. I said, well, go create a $3 million business and go have a really good lifestyle. Don't worry about the 10 million. Others want to go build an empire, and I go, "Great, I'll help you build an empire. That's fine too."
Do you build those empires though from love and abundance? Do you help them build it from love
Oh,
and abundance? Like, tell us a
yeah.
little bit about the Ptolemy framework in terms of there's got to be life and business aspects to this. Like,
Yeah.
how does it work?
Well, the actual Ptolemy map, it came,
Sorry, map. Yeah.
yeah, so it came from many, many years of looking at both, looking at the mind and the logic of what it takes to grow a business, but then it looks at and it maps the emotional side of things of business as well. So how do you look at your emotions and use your emotions as a compass? But most importantly, it then connects you to your inspiration of what you want to create in the world. So it doesn't matter when I sit down with, I can be sitting down with a $150 million business, and I'll be going into asking those business owners what it is that they truly want to create. And often it is that they've been driven to create that from something in their history. And I say, now you've created all the success you could possibly want. What do you want to do now? And they say, well, I want to give back. I go, great. Who do you want to give back to? Well, I want to teach everyone how I got to where I got. And I go, that's service centered. And it's interesting that it's those businesses that get to that level are generally service centered in the first place.
Mm.
Yep. And they want to create a wonderful culture for people to work in and whatnot. And then you see all these other people that come in and they see that and they go, oh, that must be easy. Let's go do that. And I go, no, no, is that yours? Is that your pathway? Is that your journey? And so, as I said before, some people then they go, no, it's not. I just want to have a good lifestyle.
Mm.
I don't need to go create $100 or a $10 million business or whatever it
Mm.
might be.
Yes, they're very deep questions, aren't they? Like, they make you really reflect, right? And I guess this comes to solving the right problems in the wrong order. Is that part of your initial can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it's really
Yeah.
interesting, because it's a real spin on it, like solving the right problems in the wrong order.
Yeah. What I found was, I mean, the Ptolemy map is designed to be a portal. So I'm not the expert on everything. Like there's people that can do things a lot deeper than I can when it comes to whether it be sales or whether it be even brand design and things like that. I use the best people. And the whole idea is getting your timing right, because if you go to a networking event and someone comes to you and says, I'm a sales specialist, I help create leads, or I help convert leads, or there might be someone that's a structural expert that does organizational design, or there might be someone that comes in and does, oh, I'm a cultural expert. Now, when someone's selling something and they're really good at what they do, they're engaging. And what I found was that there's all these beautiful experts out there that are highly, highly engaging. And I say, what's your biggest problem when it comes to implementation? I say, well, if it comes to implementation, it doesn't work, then referrals don't flow. And I say to them, well, did you get the timing right? And they say, what do you mean? And what happens is the experts are all correct. It's just that it might be out of sequence. So when you get the sequence right, all the experts' information results in a return on investment. And as a result of that return on investment coming through from the investment, they can then invest in the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. They don't get depleted. They actually build asset on asset on asset. And that's how you grow a business 6 times faster than doing it a traditional way.
Fascinating. Like, if you is this all like from your like from all your years of experience working with businesses that you've built this
Yeah.
map?
Uh-huh. Well, you know the inspiration, B. The inspiration, I mean, I started it in 2000. I started this journey, but wasn't until 2008 when I was driving to a friend's house that I'd never been to before with my wife. So Jackie and I were sitting there, and I was driving, and we're having a good chitty chat. And we'd never been to this suburb, and we'd never been to this area of Brisbane before. And we got there, and I said to my wife, "Do you realize that this journey has been completely pleasant? There hasn't been any tension in the car whatsoever." She goes, "Yeah, I did notice that." And I said, "Do you know why?" She goes, "Because we're using Google Maps. We're using a GPS mapping system." And I say, "Yeah." Now, think about that. What the GPS mapping system does, it takes us from our point of reference where our starting is, and it then orientates us to where we want to go. And then it gave us choices of which way we wanted to get there. I said, I've been working with small and medium enterprises for the last 8 years now, and my biggest problem is getting partnerships aligned, whether it be husband and wife, whether it be multiple partners in a firm. They all have their own opinion of how to get to the destination. And I said, that's my biggest challenge. If I can solve that problem and orientate an entire business behind one direction, right, then we take away all the stress and all the shoulding. So lots of businesses should all over
Yeah.
themselves. And we should do this, we should do this. And your partner B is saying this, and partner. It's like if you're in a car with no GPS mapping system and you've got 4 people in it, they all have an opinion on how to
Yeah,
get to the destination.
it's how you how to drive, backseat drivers, totally.
Yeah. And I said to my wife, imagine if we could create the equivalent of a GPS mapping system for business as Google and other platforms have done for us in getting from A to B in the physical world. Now, it took me 12, 13, almost 14 years to work it out. And when I worked it out, I went, oh, there it is. Because I had to map all 3 layers, being the mind and the logic, as well as the heart, as well as the inspiration. And once I mapped all 3, the map presented itself.
It's so funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of these things happen when you least expect it. And it comes back to forcing things as well. And I also think that, you and I were briefly talking pre-show around sustainable business versus regenerative business. And actually, I was just speaking to a lady in the US and having a pre-pod catch up, and we were having a very similar conversation in terms of just this fast-paced, short-term business models versus this like we put so much pressure on ourselves. It's back to that scarcity piece as well as I've got to
Yeah.
keep up. Like,
Yeah.
you compare
Yeah.
yourself. I'm 3 years into a business. I was having one of the worst like limiting belief days yesterday, and I had to use one of my own tools, the pattern
Yeah.
interrupt tool, because I was
Yeah.
just like, just stop, because I'm on a purpose. I'm on a mission. It's a grandiose one, and that's not going to happen overnight, right?
No, no. Well, you got to build all the different assets, but
Yeah.
they're building blocks. And once you build the first building block, then you do the next one, then you do the next one, then you do the next one. Now, the mistake that most businesses are making in the market is they're leading with sales. So they're going out, they've got a product, and they go, "I've got to go sell," right? Whereas I lead with what's the brand story,
Yes.
then what's the product architecture that sits underneath that? Then what are my channels or my routes to market? And then sales then take care of themselves. So I build it from a top down. I build down what would a business look like in 10, 15, 20 years? And then I build the brand story from that. And it doesn't take long with AI
No,
these
I
days. That's
agree.
why you can do it so quick. But you've got to start with the end, and then you orientate to where your starting position is. And then you build the assets that come down, and then you actually then get pulled up towards your vision rather than having to push up. You get pulled up. It becomes really super easy.
Yeah. It is slowing down to speed up though, Tim.
It
Let's
is.
face it, like it takes longer. And, I've had to give myself the hard conversations at times going, calm your farm, like I'm expecting myself to be where I think I should be versus, well, no, I'm building something and I've got to be more patient. And it comes back to abundance and love. Like you got to love yourself. You got to love your business like you love yourself, sort of thing as well, right? It's all of that. And I think that there's so many different conversations. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. We need to pause. We need to slow things down. We need to be more present. We need to stop trying to keep up. We're all doing things at a different pace.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
you must
You're
be
saying
seeing this as well,
you're
and
you're
yet
you're
it's like,
saying
I gotta just, like it's
no,
like,
no,
like, I've actually just decided lately, even with AI, I'm just gonna observe for a bit because don't need all the tools that are out there. Like, what
no.
do I actually need
Yeah.
to
So
fulfill my
missing out is a fear-based context. Missing out is a
yeah,
fear-based context.
FOMO.
So if FOMO's in play, then you're on the treadmill. But the thing is, if you connect with inspiration and you go, what am I inspired to do? And then educate yourself on how to actually build a brand around that inspiration. Then it's all about building the capability to enable that brand. And you can do it with AI, but you still got to guide AI.
100%.
And AI as well. Like I'm doing brands so much quicker these days with AI, but it still comes down to how well you brief it. It's still how well you can articulate to AI what it is that you're wanting to create. Yeah. Now, if you brief it really, really well, the outcomes are amazing and it's really fast. You brief it poorly, and it will then pull in things from the internet. And in the internet is a whole lot of scarcity. So it will pull in a whole lot of scarcity language and scarcity guidance because you're not guiding it fully around abundance and around being in service and the like. So the more you can get clear on what it is you want to create in the world and brief it, the better and faster it will go. But then, I mean, it's like with the Google Maps story of going from A to B. I said to my wife, I said, like, there's no tension. We know where we're going. There's no shooting. We should go this way. We should go that way. And so what we do is we just have a wonderful journey and look out the window and we enjoy the ride. And we get there when we get there, even if there's a bit of traffic.
Such a good analogy, isn't it? You get there when you get there. You get there
Yeah,
when you're meant to get there.
yeah.
Versus having a car accident or getting a police fine or whatever because you're pushing through. It's such a great reminder. I mean, this is more of a specific to the Aussie like Australia, and it's happening everywhere though. Like there's a lot of political powers at play, and there's a lot of change in the economy, businesses. I mean, Australia has we've our government, whether you like them or not, they've made it tougher for entrepreneurs and small businesses, and all businesses here.
Yeah,
How
they
much do
have.
you think that's going to impact what you and I are talking about? Do you think it's going to make people stop and actually work on what their purpose is, like everything we're talking about more? Or do you think it's creating more of a scarcity or an offshore focus?
Yeah, I mean, if you can change, like if you know what you can change and you know what is out of your control. So if you know what's in your control and out of your control. So I only worry about those things that are in my control. If I worry about things that are out of my control, then I'll stop. Right. So, because and listen to the noise. I mean, I watch the news every now and again just to see what's going on, and I reckon you could just put a lot of that on replay, and they just
Yeah,
change the
same.
heading and change the date, and it's the same thing, just different decade. Um, but the thing is, if you can change it's all about focusing those things that are in your realm of control. Now, that's from the inside out. The realm of control is how we feel every single day, and it's putting the rituals and routines in play so I love myself. So you made mention before around if brand and business is a magnet, and magnetism happens when someone is truly looking after themselves, they love themselves and they love their brand, that's magnetic to other people
Yeah, I love
because they're
that.
not worried about what other people think about them. They're not worried about what other people are doing. They're going in their inspiration. They're going in their direction, and as a result, people go, "Ooh, I want a bit of that."
Yeah, it's so true. That's gonna be a thumbnail, Tim. Brand and business is a magnet. Like, it's so true. Like, it really is, because I think the less we listen, like, focus on the white noise and everything out there, and really just truly, what's the word? Truly, it comes back to inside. Like, you talk about the GPS, like, there's a GPS for the car. It's coming back to your own GPS. Where is the
Yeah, it is.
GPS inside of me driving
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
Versus
exactly.
going externally looking for an external thing to drive you. It never works. It's
It
taken me
doesn't.
this long at 48 years of age to finally go, "Oh, yeah, I get it now." You know? Like,
It's
this
it's funny when you say it, B, because I mean I started writing the book 4 years ago, right? And um, it then showed up like 4 years later after I found a really awesome editor to help me curate it and whatnot. And I still look back at it today and I go, how did I do that? So it's like it was bizarre. I still am in a bit of disbelief that, but the thing is, I was driven and drawn to create it.
Yeah, yeah, or it's presented to you at the most at like the when you least expect it, because people will even ask me about this podcast, which is becoming like its own living, breathing thing, and I'm like, "How," and they're like, "How did you start it?" I'm like, "Oh, someone suggested I start a pod." I looked at them and went, I don't know the first thing about doing this. I want to have some conversations, and now I think energy comes into play as well, Tim. Like, you talk a lot about leading change with culture, and I talk a lot about energy, attitude, and behavior. And I think a lot of what we're talking about here is also the ability to, like, follow what energizes us, because we
Yeah,
can be the biggest energy zappers, and
yeah.
business is the same sort of thing, right? And so, it's pursuing those things that truly light you up.
And B, I'm going to circle back to one of your other comments before because this one's really, really important as well. And that circles back to the cultural bit as well as the business entrepreneurial bit. So when I was at Telstra and we downsized from 98,000 to 48,000, the then CEO Frank Blunt, he was an American CEO. He did something that was transformational inside the business, and he realized that culture was at the core of the change because 10,000 people would be leaving every year. and he realized that there'd be people feeling guilty about it. Now there'd be other people feeling a bit lost, and so he put a program in place that it was a personal development program, and he put all 98,000 people through it at a cost of $3,000 per person. Yeah, so it was a $300 million exercise, right? That was the level of investment. And what he did is he gave confidence to people that if they got the tap on the shoulder and they needed to leave, they had confidence that they could go get another job. Yeah. Now, this was when the business environment was only changing in certain market sectors, right? With AI, we're about to have the exact same thing happen, but on a global scale in every business. So there's going to be more and more people that are going to need to find their own way, which means we need more entrepreneurs, not less. We need more people doing side hustles. We need more people taking inspiration to go create something new because they can.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the world is abundant. There's that many problems and that many things that we can create
And solve.
and
Mm.
solve and change for a better outcome for us as people and us as society. That we're going to see all these new little industries and these little, and you're going to look at it and you go,
You know, it's
where did that
exciting, isn't
come
it?
from? It's
Yeah,
really exciting.
that's the bit I get excited about, and yeah, like even though it's tough times sometimes at this point, like it's still I like there's no going back for me from being an entrepreneur now. There's just no way. There's just no going back. Like
No,
this
same here.
this is the only way forward. Mum even said,
I'm unemployable.
yeah, same. Mum even said it to me last night. I was like, she's like, "How was your day?" And I'm like, "Oh, I was having one of those founder days." And then like it's good to share those, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no other option. This is it. Like,
Well, it's full responsibility. When you go out on your own and you take responsibility, it's you go on a journey of self-discovery.
yeah, that
And it's the best growth journey you could
yeah,
ever imagine. I
100%.
love it.
So do I. So do I. So Tim, final two questions for you. You seem like such a grounded, soulful and earthy type of a person. Do you ever lose your cool? Do you ever lose your shit? Or do you ever have days where you're just like, "Ugh," like, do you know what I mean? Like, does it, or is this just you all the time?
No, 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 no. I'm human. I I go through every emotion like everyone else. I go through anxiety, I go through frustration, I go through stress, I go through, holy shit, is this really right? Are we going down the right pathways? But what I do is I've done a lot of work around belief systems. I've done a lot of work around my own personal energy, and I have some pretty good rituals and routines so I don't stay in it for long. So if I go into anxiety about something, I will feel the emotion. And when I truly deeply feel it and I let go of the story that created it, I then get centered and I can move on to my day. So yes, I'm human. I go through it, and I'm learning more and more every day on how to navigate it, and how to flip it from, like, anxiety. You can flip anxiety to excitement really quickly,
Yeah, I
once it's
agree.
acknowledged.
I
But if it
agree.
goes unacknowledged, it can just sit in the body.
And go for
So
days. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I totally agree. I feel excited today. It's kind of funny, isn't it? I was laughing to myself earlier thinking, how do I go from one extreme to the other? Like
I
yesterday it
know.
was like the world was falling apart. Today it's like, woo, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm on. Like game on. You know what I mean? And then my last question is what a lot of people don't like me using the word advice, but however, you're an advisor. You're an advice like as an advisor would you
I'm a
give?
guide.
Oh, guide, yeah, I use the word guide as well, like, so,
Yeah,
yeah, what would be one piece of guidance
yeah.
that you would give any founder, leader?
Listen to your own advice. So so the difference between guidance and advice. Advice can come in a shoulding language.
Tell you how it is, yeah.
Yeah. Guidance comes in possibility.
Yeah,
You
that's good.
could do this, you could do that. And it's to listen to the inner voice of, yeah, that feels right to me. So when we let go of the logic and lead from heart and lead from inspiration, and then look at the guide that's coming and say, is this timing right for this guide to be coming into my life? And if that's right, listen to that and go, okay, what am I here to learn?
Mm.
And then learn that, apply it, and then move on to the next piece of guidance and the next piece of guidance.
I love it. So good, Tim. Gosh, here we are. I said, oh, it'd probably be like a good old 30-minute chat, and we've been in flow. So it's always the way. I love these conversations. Thank you so much. What a great conversation. Lots of takeaways for the listeners here. Like, I could just list them out. Some great takeaways for me. I think the biggest reminder is that cycles repeat themselves. So if we can take that away, and then how do we get back to our own inner GPS? And getting those right problems in the what did you say?
Right order.
In the right order.
Now,
Like, there's right problems. Not every problem is a bad problem. Like, there's right problems. It's just getting them in the right order. I think
yeah,
there's
sometimes a problem needs to be sitting there and you go, I just don't need to deal with that right now. I
yeah,
need to work on this over here. And so all of a sudden the energy goes away from that problem. And then
totally.
you go work over here and then all of a sudden you go, what was that problem again?
Mm,
And
mm.
it's
Yeah,
disappeared.
so true. And love and abundance. What such beautiful language versus scarcity and fear and, like, get rid of that white noise. There's so much here, Tim. Thank you so much.
You're
How do
welcome.
we find out more about you? How do we purchase or get a hold of the Ptolemy map
Yeah,
book?
there's a couple of things. So if you're in Australia, just go directly to our website, tolemy.com. That's Tolemy.com, and the book's there. You can order it direct. And if you order it from direct in Australia, I personally sign every copy that goes in.
Ooh,
If you're in the US, though, the postage and whatnot, so we've got a distributor over there. You can get it on all the major streaming services. But can I suggest people do this one thing as well? Is I
quiz.
have created a very simple indicator quiz. In less than 5 minutes, businesses can work out, are they going in the right direction and do they have the current flowing with them? Or are they going against the wind and against the current? Now, it's 5 questions on each, and it will give you a very quick diagnostic on where your business is today.
Oh, I love that.
Now, that's the starting location in the GPS mapping system. So just by doing that, and it's a free quiz, you don't have to pay anything, or there is a paid for version as well, but you can get insight. And if you read through it, if it tells you exactly what's going on in your business, then you'll know how to use the book really well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah. Well, can you please send me
that's
the
at
quiz?
quiz.ptolemy.com.
Yeah, quiz.ptolemy.com.
Yeah, just
Ptolemy.com. Cool. I've got it. All right. Excellent. Tim, thank you so much. Go and enjoy that beautiful Brisbane winter weather.
will
It's,
do.
yes.
Bea, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. I really appreciate your time, and these conversations keep flowing. And again, to the listeners, if you loved this conversation, please comment, please like, please tell us what you took away from this conversation, because the insights and the guidance we're getting out of so many of these conversations is what we can also apply in business and in life and in leadership. So thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Bea. Much
All right, have a good
appreciated.
evening.
Okay.